All right, we should be live. So welcome to Deadbeat Devs Dev Talk 0.0.6. This is like pre-alpha stages.
Sorry about the delay. We said we'd do it every week. It's
Yeah.
been, I think, 3 weeks now. We're getting better. It hasn't been a full month at least.
We really need to apologize to our two listeners.
How many viewers? Yeah.
Anyways, let's not be self-deprecating. Let's talk about some cool technology shit, because that's what we do at this time. So I want to start off with this thing that I've been reading into, kind of getting into a little bit. LBRY, as they call themselves.
How did you spell that again?
LBRY, library. So LBRY, what it is pretty much a big decentralized digital library, quote, controlled by the community, as you can see on their thing right here. So basically, you can watch this library in 100 seconds video, but I'll sum it up for you in like 20. They're a distributed channel by which you can basically distribute any sort of digital content you want. So videos, really anything, anything that can be translated into ones and zeros, you can put it on LBRY. You put it up, it's going to be encrypted by default, and this is going to be to enable payment to whatever you put online. So if you put up a video, the video is going to be encrypted, and then if you want to set a price to that video, you can also set it to free. But if you want to set a price to that video, people will pay that price, and it is then they get the key to unencrypt it. So, I mean, that's the basic idea. Their ledger, their database for this whole thing is blockchain because, you know, that's just the cool technology apparently everybody has to use. And yeah, so to kind of give you, if you want an idea basically of what it is, you can think of it a lot like BitTorrent. And there are a few key differences that I think is going to make it a little bit better than BitTorrent. So, you with me so far? Is this kind of making sense? Do you have any questions?
No, just keep going.
Okay. So, yeah, so LBRY, once you upload a thing, it's basically going to be distributed exactly like something would on BitTorrent. So everyone who has watched or streamed that piece of content has a bit of it on their computer. And then when other people go to watch it, bits will be assembled from all over the internet from the various hosts. And you get it by going to a URL using the LBRY protocol. That's actually, so the URL you hit would be LBRY:// whatever they decided to name the URL, the content producer. So that's actually why library is spelled LBRY, because it's a protocol like HTTP, HTTPS. So they just thought it would be a bit cumbersome to spell out library. So it's not just some like hipster doofus stuff. So that's basically the gist of it. That how it works. The next big component would be the incentivizing, producing and sharing. Basically, how do they incentivize people to seed this content? Because with BitTorrent, one of the big problems is you're basically relying on people to seed for you, even though they don't really get a benefit out of it. So if I download a movie on the Pirate Bay or whatever, out of the goodness of my heart, I could decide to continue seeding it through whatever BitTorrent application I have, but I could also just stop it because it doesn't really give me any benefit. With LBRY, I'm not sure that you would actually have an option not to seed, but when you do seed a video, when you do seed a video, you get credits in the form of LBRY coins, I believe they're called.
The LBCs.
Yeah, LBCs is what their I guess their stock symbol. I don't know what you call them. They're kind of like stocks. Yeah, and so you get those paid out to a wallet, very similar to every other coin-based cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin, Dogecoin, whatever. Feathercoin, Litecoin, I don't know.
Darkcoin.
Is there a
every other
Darkcoin?
one. There is actually.
Oh, sweet. Wonder what's up.
So what are the LBRY coins worth, like in U.S. currency?
I should have pulled it up, but I just checked as of
I think
now.
you told me earlier, right?
Yeah, as of now, they're traded at like 1.2 US cents. So in terms of that compared to Bitcoin, it's very small. Compared to other coins, it's fairly large. I don't really know. I'm not super into the whole cryptocurrency economics thing, so I'm not sure if that's really good, if that's really bad, or if you can even tell anything with a project that's so early on. But
I mean, if you get a big enough following, then of course the numbers start to become much more significant.
mhm.
But no, for like someone just starting out, it's
Yeah,
probably just negligible.
yeah,
You
and
wouldn't even worry about it.
I think with the coins as they stand right now, you can't really do much with them. I
Yeah, because
believe,
it's like where are they accepted? Like where do I turn in
yeah,
my
like,
Doge
yeah. If
coins?
people want to buy them, they're basically buying them on faith that these will become more valuable. But anyways, if you don't want to buy them, they also do have ways set up where you can do mining. So they've already got GPU pools, and they have a standalone client for CPU mining. And you can get these on the library website. Just go to their FAQ, and it'll tell you how to get started with mining. As of right now, it is currently just in a beta, in an invite-only beta. So you can sign up on their
That we're not
website.
even in yet.
Yeah, no, I signed up a couple weeks ago now, but haven't really heard back from them. Hopefully, eventually we'll get in, and then I'd like to do like a more in-depth video and what it's
All in
like
due
to up.
time.
Sorry.
All in due time.
Yeah, hopefully eventually. And yeah, we can do a whole video on what it's like to upload anything to library, and yeah, hopefully it'll be hunky dory. Couple other things I want to mention about them. They've got a Slack channel that if you're interested, first of all, if you're interested in just talking to them, details for their Slack channel are on their GitHub page, which is just easy to find, just GitHub library. And yeah, so you can talk to them if you want. What else did I want to mention? I mean, no, I guess that was basically it. So the one interesting thing I think that this brings up, however, is and the one thing that for me they still have not answered is how will this prevent piracy? Because I can get a digital copy of whatever movie I want that I don't have rights to and upload it to library free of charge, and I frankly don't see how this would function any differently in this case than BitTorrent.
Well, I mean, you said that if you see the videos, or if you make people pay for them, they get the encryption key to it or the decryption key to
Correct.
watch the video. But I'm assuming if you don't make people pay for the videos, then they're just out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think they're still encrypted, even if you don't set a price to them. But yeah, then just anyone can download them. So um, that's
Well,
the
I mean,
one kind of like downside about this that, and I've checked. They don't have anything about it in their FAQ about how they'll deal with piracy, and
they probably haven't gotten that far in the development process yet.
yeah. Well, I
It's
mean, the
still in
thing is,
beta.
they don't control. Oh, I should probably get rid of this. They're showing that I downloaded my 1942 ROM. Yeah, but they don't. Basically, with the system, they don't control anything at all. It's like the creators of BitTorrent don't control anything about what their brainchild. The most that library will do is have a central repository that you can search for relevant videos or whatever it is you're looking for. So I don't know. I guess they couldn't get in too much trouble because I mean the creators of BitTorrent didn't really get in trouble. It's not illegal technology, but
It's just being used in illegal ways.
yeah, the creators of Pirate Bay got in trouble, not the creators of BitTorrent. So
Yeah.
I think if these guys do something sketchy, it's like if they do create that central repository of just basically that catalog, a site that just has the blockchain, and then that allows people to search for videos and stuff. I think if they do something like that, they'll probably end up going the way of the Pirate Bay,
Most likely.
which I guess is still around. But yeah, whatever.
It's still being worked out.
Yeah.
Last I heard, at least.
Yeah, I think they're actually Pirate Bay is ran from like this bizarre. I can't remember if it's Swedish. I think it's Swedish, not Swiss. But like
I think, yeah, Sweden.
There's no, well, yeah, they're Swedish, but I think there's like a bunker somewhere that has like armed guards that has certain servers in it that the Pirate Bay is running
Yes,
out
sir.
of. That could, I
Seriously?
mean, that could just be like an internet joke, and I fell for it. I don't know, but
That
I'd have to
sounds like
look
it's
into that
probably a
more.
joke.
I've definitely heard that. I don't know. Any thoughts about this? Because going forward, I think we'll do a video, but
I mean, it seems like a really good idea in theory. Just have to see how it works in practice.
mhm.
Considering it's like really new. I mean, it could be an alternative to people wanting to use something other than YouTube to put their content out there. Um, especially with everything I'm hearing about. Like, I haven't looked into any detail on it, but apparently, like YouTube's policy updates are really pissing a lot of people off.
Mhm.
Like, people are threatening to shut down their channels over it.
Yeah.
I think the most notable one I saw was what's his name? PewDiePie
Oh no, that was a
said,
joke.
"Oh, it was a joke."
Of course,
I
he's
fell for
fucking
that one
PewDiePie.
then. Okay.
Dude, he makes like $10 million a year.
I know. I mean, you know what? Hey, if he wanted to just shut it down, he could. He's probably got plenty of money for it.
Oh yeah,
But not the point though. But
yeah.
regardless, it's just a whole bunch of
Hmm.
people talking about something. I don't actually read the updates to YouTube's policy every single time,
Yeah.
but it bothers some people a lot.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, people.
So
I think YouTube makes like I think they keep like about 50% of the profits they make on your videos, which I mean, I don't necessarily have an issue with. I think that's, if
that,
they,
that seems fair enough. I mean,
yeah,
they're providing you with the outlet to get to the public.
yeah, you back up all my videos. Nobody would know about this thing if it wasn't for me. You have the platform. I personally
Exactly.
don't think it's that ridiculous, but hey,
I mean, it's like if people that posted Facebook videos, Facebook started to,
yeah,
because I think I heard that Facebook is going to start doing paid videos, kind of like YouTube, where if you put a video out there and it gets like a bunch of views, they put ads on it, and then Facebook will pay you.
hmm,
Um, but then obviously it'll go the same way as YouTube, where they have some kind of policy where for whatever amount of ad revenue
hmm,
your video makes, Facebook's going to take a cut of it.
yeah, which I mean, capitalism. Don't build in someone's backyard if you know they're going to enforce their will upon you because you're building all of your stuff on their infrastructure.
Of course. I
But
mean, of course, you could make your own website and post your videos there, and then it's like, okay, it's your website. You get everything that your videos make.
mm,
Go and do that. But then, good luck getting, noticed that way, unless you've already established yourself on YouTube or some other platform.
yeah, yeah, it's a sticky web. But I mean, hey, this is
What are people really gonna do?
yeah. I mean,
Like, people make channels every single day. They're putting videos out there. If people actually do shut down their channels, someone else is going to jump in to take your place with
mm,
your popularity. I mean, it's
yeah, yeah. I as much as I think this is cool and idealistically, I'd want it to be like super successful and have all the bullshit that the CEOs and the founders of this are talking about actually come to fruition. Where this is a YouTube competitor, or whatever. I think this is going to be like a slightly fancier BitTorrent, but I'm still excited about it. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool technology.
yeah, the technology and the concept behind it are cool. It's just it's if it gets adopted.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye on it.
Oh yeah,
And yeah, and if I do actually get into this the private beta or whatever, and I can talk to some of the developers, I want to do a more in-depth thing on it, and maybe even do an interview with some of the guys. Because I mean, if they're in the Slack channel, I can definitely do. I'm gonna do some development work or like make a build for Arch or something. I don't know. I'll do something
that'd
for
be
them,
really
and then
cool.
maybe they'll talk to me, and I can do like a quick 20-minute interview with them or something.
It's like, hey, I did this really cool thing with your technology. Would you talk to me now, please?
Yeah,
Notice me.
just yeah, get them to me. Moving on. Next subject, I want to talk about something that I thought was very cool called Lutris. It is an open source gaming platform. So think of it kind of like a Steam, and it's something that runs on a Linux. And yeah, it's just a place for you to access all of your games. Pretty much just from my we've been playing around with it a little bit. So it gives you access like Steam to native games on Linux. So it'll just basically have a link to the launcher for you and launch the games. And it does have big games in it. So it has. I saw Mass Effect. I don't think they have a ton of like very up to date games. They don't have like the latest Call of Duties or whatever.
Well, I mean, like even the games on Steam OS slash Steam for Linux, they do have some AAA titles. Like they got like what was it? I think it was Borderlands
Yeah.
was the one they advertised, and then they do have some AAA titles
Hmm.
that moved
Yeah.
over to it.
I guess I was saying they're not. They're not. They are limited by what's on Linux, which is
Yeah,
fine. But I think even of like the big titles that are also coming out for Linux, they don't necessarily have all of them. And I don't know why, or maybe I just didn't find them. But so that's basically that's one part, and another part of it is it has 20 emulators built in. So I'll actually just
Ooh.
show you. So basically you have access to Steam games, which we didn't mention you can import your Steam library. So that's kind of cool.
Makes a quick and easy transition.
Yep. So and then you have your native Linux games, and you know that's what you'd expect. Browser games, which I mean, whatever. It's just gonna be like a link to open up a browser game, I assume. And the ones I've been playing around with are MAME games. It's one of the emulators they have in, so multiple arcade machine emulators. For those of you who don't know, and they on Lutras's website they don't give you the ROMs because they probably don't want to get into legal issues. But yeah, if
Kill
you
themselves before they even get started.
yeah you can still run an install script, point to where the ROM is on your computer. You have to download one, and then yeah, it'll give you basically just a link to launch the game from here. So I can launch into 1942. Yeah, hopefully it'll work. Oh, okay, that's fantastic that it crashed. Okay, well,
Great way to show it off.
it was literally just working, and it was a lot of fun. I just think, I think something like this would be cool if you want to do like a Raspberry Pi arcade machine. This would be kind of an easy
Oh
way
yeah.
to set it up. I mean, granted, there is also PyMame, but screw it. You can also do this and do your own thing. As an alternative to Steam, I don't know that I'd personally use it. Like the fact that it's open source doesn't quite sway me enough. And it's still very simple, and it's not even at its
It's
1.0 release though. So maybe it'll get better.
you gotta hope at least. The whole idea, with the open source is probably the more people that use it, the better it'll get
Hmm.
faster.
Yeah,
But that's the hope. No guarantees.
yeah. I don't know why the screen is flashing so much, but oh well, we'll figure that out. Yeah, that's Lutris. I think it's kind of cool. Give it a shot. And it's another thing to keep an eye on. It's not at the full release yet. We just like to talk about things when they're newer, flashy, not flashier, but yeah, newer and just getting started.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, if it ends up being halfway decent, 90% of Steam, then the fact that it's open source will probably sway me. But whatever. Uh, that's all for Lutris. And now we're gonna talk about some single board computers with this Raspberry Pi 3 and a new one we want to talk about called the Pine A64.
Yeah. That's
Steven?
okay. So it seems that like more and more single board computers are popping up to compete with the Raspberry Pi because Raspberry Pi's been really popular for a few years now as a teaching tool, kids' first computer. And then it's like the whole idea is that, well, why can't we have these as, regular use, like for very basic use computers, like, you set it up on your desk, you literally use it just to browse the internet, maybe watch the occasional YouTube video, some word processing and editing, make a media center out of it. Pine 64 is supposed to be around the same price point as the Raspberry Pi 3. There's a couple different models of it available, but the highest end variant comes in at $30. Um, but trying to boast some better specs. Let's see, for example, let me see if I'm reading this right. DDR3 RAM 2 gigabytes instead of the 1 gigabyte of DDR2 that the Raspberry Pi has.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing as an ARM processor. It does
Mm-hmm.
not have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi built in, but you can buy a little adapter for it for just $10. So it still keeps the price pretty down pretty low. It's a little bigger than the Raspberry Pi, and it only has two USB 2.0 ports instead of four like the Raspberry Pi. But reading some reviews on it, like comparing the two at least, it's not quite as good as the Raspberry Pi 3, mostly because it doesn't have as much of the support as the Pi 3. It's able to do 4K video through the HDMI port, and it's really powerful for its price. It's able to run most Linux distributions. They put like Ubuntu, Debian, Android, things like that on it.
So
But
is it kind of more like if you know what you're kind of like if you're more experienced, I suppose it's more powerful for the same
yes,
price, but not as good support.
yes, yeah. If you've never used it before, they still recommend the Raspberry Pi 3 because it's easy to set up. It's easy to just jump right into, and the support is there. The website is, has all the information you could possibly need. The Pine 64 is still new, and it's definitely more for advanced users.
Right.
But I mean, if you're, above average, you could probably figure it out, and it's probably a good choice. Now, if don't even want to use Linux at all, there's another single board computer that I found.
Ooh.
It's definitely, more than twice the price of either of these, but it runs a full version of Windows 10, and that one is called the Latte Panda.
God, fucking
Uh,
hipsters.
I can't say that I love the name of it, but it's definitely interesting because this is a single board computer that your average user or even I guess beginner could use because it comes pre-installed with Windows 10 and it's the same thing as you buy a regular desktop. You plug it in, turn it on, it boots into Windows.
That
Yep.
is bizarre to me.
I mean, what was the price on it? I think it was like
It's fairly expensive. I'm looking at the shop
Are you
kind of thing
checking it right
right.
now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it says 2 gigs. Oh, so sorry. It must be 2 gigs RAM, 32 storage. No
Yes.
Windows 10 license is $89.
That's without Windows 10
Right.
installed.
And
That's if you want to
yeah,
do it yourself, like you have your own copy, or you want to put something else on it.
yeah, and I believe it has. I mean, it does have a lot of cool kit with it. Like, let's see, it's got a IPS display that, like with a little ribbon cable that plugs right in.
It's also a
Uh,
touchscreen too.
oh yeah, yeah. It's got a sensor starter kit, which I assume has just accelerometers and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Kits, copper heat sinks because you need those tiny ass copper heat sinks. A fan. I mean, the support's definitely there. It's very cool.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a full Windows PC. It doesn't actually use the ARM processor. It uses an Intel Atom processor, quad
Mhm.
core, clocked to 1.84
Right.
gigahertz.
Because
Um,
yeah, there's no there was a version of Windows that ran ARM, but it was like
Windows
super shitty.
IoT. Yeah, a friend of mine got that for his Raspberry Pi. He said it was like a really stripped down version of
Mm.
Windows. Like you can
Yeah.
hardly do anything in it.
Well, they made it for the original Windows Surface. It was super shitty also because you couldn't run any x86 apps. So it was like when Windows 8 just came out and they were expecting you just to run the Windows apps, um, which like most of them were kind of shitty. And like, what's the point of having a Windows machine if you can't run x86 apps? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are you going to really do with it? What's your average user really going to do with it?
yeah.
Nothing.
So yeah, that's yeah. I mean, they technically could have gone with an ARM, but it would have been a useless product. So
But it's still interesting because, like I said, it's got that, into quad core Intel processor. It
mhm,
looks like it's fairly powerful. Obviously, I don't know. I've
right.
never used it. It's got two USB 2.0 headers, but also a USB 3.0 header, which is new for these single board
Mhm,
computers, or at least the first that I've seen of it.
yeah. Hmm.
It's got its own internal memory, the 32 or 64 gigabytes, and it's got a micro SD card slot too, so you can even expand that.
It's interesting. Hmm. Like I'm wondering what the like. I like this. It's cool. I'm wondering what the use case would be though, because like if you can get a Raspberry Pi for, I mean, you could get a couple Raspberry Pis for the price of one of these things. And if you can do that, I mean, I wonder what the advantage to something like this would be, other than like if you really need it for a niche, if you need more horsepower for kind of a niche thing.
I mean, if you would literally want to give this to someone who doesn't have much use for a powerful computer, but just needs to do very, very basic things, like they
Hmm.
need access to, Microsoft Office. I mean,
Yeah.
some Windows exclusive apps that can be run on this. You know, a small
Yeah.
amount of storage. They're not like saving thousands of pictures to it,
Oh,
and it could be just a very, very, very basic Windows PC, like as basic as you can get.
hmm. Yeah, could
And
like a
it's
grandma PC.
yeah, no, no, really though, like
Yeah,
that
no, yeah,
actually is what it could be. Like for $89, or what is it? The
yeah,
with Windows 10, it's 120. That's not bad.
right.
And then all you need is just mouse, keyboard, monitor.
Hmm. Or if you want double the RAM and up to double the storage, then it's 150. Which
It's still not bad though.
no, not at all. That's actually it's fine. And then you get this nice little plywood case for $8.20, and I mean, you made in the shade, man. That's
Exactly.
um, yeah, I kind of like that.
I don't know. Like my whole thought on this, the whole thing in general with the Raspberry Pi, the Pine 64, Latte Panda. I hate saying that. Um,
Yeah, that's an awful name. They need to change that.
is just then of course there's the Intel like mini PCs like the Nook and all that. Now these I don't know if those are exactly single board computers, but just the whole idea that maybe this is some kind of movement
Hmm. Yeah.
for the, I guess you could say, the non-enthusiast crowd for
Hmm.
PCs, for desktop PCs, like these very, very simplistic little machines that are cheap. Anyone can buy them, anyone can use them, and it's obviously not for people like us.
Hmm.
But it basically, at this point with products like this, no one has an excuse not to have a computer anymore.
All right. Yeah, it's certainly interesting. I don't know.
Oh
I
yeah.
think yeah, I think that'd be about my use case for it. Like if I wanted to do like a Kodi box or something, I'd probably get one of these Raspberry Pi or Pine 64. Especially, I mean, if I wanted to do 4K Kodi box, I'd get the Pine because I think
Oh yeah,
that's yeah, um,
because that's the 4K support.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, if someone needed a simple Windows desktop and all they did was browse the internet, I mean, I might consider something like this. I don't really
Yeah,
know.
give it to your grandparents.
Yeah,
Or if like you're old enough where it's your parents are just really out of touch with technology and they need something or some kind of update for
yeah.
that Windows
Ten.
XP or Vista machine.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm looking in the corner of my room because that's where my mom's PC is still sitting.
Mm,
That's Windows, I think Vista. Yeah,
yeah. Dude, we still gotta turn that into a router. That'd be
yeah,
fun.
we gotta do a video on
Get
that.
a PF Sense box.
But
God,
that's
there's so
for
many videos we can do. And just I spend too much time programming.
ideas. We'll we'll get to all this. That's a promise.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Well, I think it's about coming to a close. Anything else you wanna talk about in the world
No,
of technology?
that was what I wanted to get into.
Sweet. Yeah. Well, is that. I think we're gonna end it here. We got a lot more videos we want to do. It's just gonna be in terms of capacity what we can put up. But yeah, hopefully we'll come up with some cool ones and slap those up there as soon as possible. It's just a lot of work, and we both have jobs and shit. But we'll get to it. No
And we're
excuses.
also,
It'll be fun.
a state away from each other.
Yeah, yeah, but whatever. We have the internet.
Whenever I can get up to, Alex's place, then we can actually do these videos, the hands-on stuff. It'll be
Oh
a little
yeah,
easier.
PF Sense box for sure. Couple of different like Raspberry Pi based ones.
Oh yeah,
Want to do some
I'll
stuff
bring
on.
that old desktop. We'll make a router out of it.
Hmm. I have to do some stuff with Let's Encrypt for like a project, so I figure I
Oh
could do
nice.
a video on that. And I just need a certificate, but if I could just show people how to do it, it'd be kind of cool. But yeah, anyways, do we have anything else to say? We're gonna sign off.
Your media recommendation?
Oh, what is my reading? My media recommendation is Burger Time. Go get MAME and go play Burger Time. It's second only to Dig Dug, which I'm sure more people have heard of. But if you're into arcade games at all, you think they're cool, get MAME. Or no, I can't recommend illegal stuff. You can do this on MAME, but it's illegal, so don't. Get MAME and get a ROM of Burger Time and play it.
These are things you can do. We're not telling you to go do them though.
Yeah, no, I think they're abhorrent.
Of course.
And I have a Burger Time arcade machine that this is just a digital backup of. But yeah, anyways, play Burger Time. It's the greatest thing ever. We couldn't be bothered to come up with a better media recommendation. But yeah, go play Burger Time. You'll thank me later. And yeah,
That
that's it.
about sums it up.
Alrighty, we'll see you in the next hopefully 2 weeks this time. And yeah,
Debbie Devs signing off.
signing off.